Hey everyone, welcome. So today, we're not just looking at some boring course syllabus. Nope. We're actually unpacking a roadmap to one of the most critical skill sets in all of modern engineering. We're talking about AEF 3038, instrumentation. And this stuff is basically the hidden engine behind almost everything that makes our world tick. So, let's dive right in. Just think about it for a second. Every single factory, every power plant, all the complex systems running our world, they all have a kind of heartbeat. But what's controlling that pulse? Well, it's not magic, that's for sure. It's a field of engineering that acts like the central nervous system for our entire industrial landscape. So our little journey today is going to have 5 key stops. First, we'll nail down what instrumentation even is. Then we'll get into your mission, the core skills you're going to master. After that, we'll walk through the curriculum itself, see how you put it all into practice, and finally, look at how you'll use all this to, build a future.
Okay, first things first. Let's define what we're talking about. What is instrumentation? Because it's so much more than a bunch of gauges and dials on a panel. It's really the intelligence that makes the whole machine work.
When you boil it all down, instrumentation is about 2 things: measurement and control. And this is not a passive thing at all. It's the very active discipline of picking the right tools, getting them to work correctly, and then using them to automatically command a process. It's all about making systems smart enough to run themselves.
And here's what's so cool about it. Look at how broad this skill set is. This isn't some tiny niche field. Instrumentation is a core skill that connects everything from electrical and mechanical engineering to even renewables. It's like the universal language that lets all these different fields collaborate on really complex systems.
Okay, so let's move on and see what this all means for you. This isn't just about what you'll know, it's about what you'll be able to actually do. This is your mission right here.
So your main goal, your core mission, is to completely master the tools of the trade. And that means everything from picking the perfect sensor for a specific job all the way to fine-tuning a PID controller, which is kind of the little brain algorithm behind most automated systems, and just making sure it runs with absolute peak efficiency. This is the hands-on skill you'll walk away with.
But it's not just about the tech. This course is built to shape you into a complete engineer, not just a technician. You're going to be building up your skills in analysis, project management, and creative problem solving. It's really about learning to look at a complicated industrial problem and having the tools and the confidence to design a really elegant solution.
All right, now let's get into the real meat of the course. This is the structured path that takes you from the basic ideas all the way to advanced applications. Let's look at the 5 key stops along your learning journey. Here it is. This is the roadmap. We're going to start with the basics, then move on to the senses of a system, then the muscles, followed by the brain, and finally, we tie it all together in the digital age. It's a super logical progression that builds your understanding piece by piece.
So first up, you've got to learn to speak the language, right? This first unit is all about the fundamentals, the vocabulary, the symbols you'll see on every diagram, and the industry standards from groups like ISA and SAMA. Those standards make sure engineers all over the world are on the same page. This is the foundation for everything that comes next. Next, we give our system its senses. I mean, how does a process even know what's happening inside it? Through sensors and transmitters, that's how. This unit dives deep into the devices that measure all those critical physical things, like pressure, flow, and temperature. You'll learn how a system actually sees its own world. So now that our system can see, it needs to be able to do something about it. And that's where actuators come in. Think of these as the muscles of the system. Things like valves and motors that take commands from the controller and make a real physical change. This is where control turns into action. And now we get to the brain of the whole operation, the controller. In this unit, you'll master the logic of control itself. You'll learn different strategies, especially the super important PID controller, and, this is key, how to tune it perfectly so your system is stable, responsive, and incredibly efficient. And finally, we bring it all crashing into the 21st century. This unit is all about computer-aided control. You'll get into data acquisition, supervisory control, and even virtual instrumentation, which is basically using software to build and simulate powerful, flexible control systems. This is where the whole puzzle comes together.
So how do you actually learn all this? Well, it's not by just sitting in a lecture hall, that's for sure. This course is designed to get your hands dirty and really close that gap between the theory on a page and how it works in the real world.
The whole approach is perfectly balanced. On one side, you get that solid theoretical foundation, but on the other, every single concept is matched up with hands-on practice.
We're talking lab work, visits to industrial sites, and designing actual systems. This makes sure you don't just understand the ideas, you know how to apply them.
Yeah, this isn't just theory. The practicals are designed to build very specific professional skills. You'll actually be calibrating real instruments, tuning a live controller, and building virtual simulations. Every single task translates directly to a skill that you would use on the job every single day.
Okay, this brings us to the grand finale, the most important part. How does all of this knowledge actually come together? Well, it all culminates in one big final project where you get to prove you can do the whole shebang.
This little quote from the course outline just says it all perfectly. The keyword there is synthesize. You'll take everything you've learned, from sensors to controllers to software, and you'll apply it all to solve a real industrial control problem. This is the moment you stop being a student and start being an engineer.
So, after walking through this whole roadmap, there's really only one question left to ask. This is where more than just a course. It's training for the people who are going to design, build, and maintain the automated systems that power our future. The real question is, are you ready to be one of them?